Hey there, wonderful folks, and welcome back to the 60 Plus Wellness Way channel. I'm so glad you're joining me today. In part 1, we talked about the 8 crucial early warning signs of a heart attack, those subtle but serious signals you absolutely shouldn't ignore, especially as we get older. And now, in part 2, it's time to answer the big question: what do you do if you notice these signs? That's right, action time. Let's get into it. Oh, what do you do if you notice these signs? Action time. Alright, so you've listened to all this information, and maybe, just maybe, some of these signs are starting to sound a little familiar. Or perhaps you know someone who's been experiencing them. The big question now is, what do you do? This is the most important part, because knowing is only half the battle. Acting on that knowledge is what truly saves lives. First and foremost, do not ignore these signs. I know, I keep saying it, but it bears repeating. Don't try to sleep it off. Don't tell yourself it's just stress or old age. Don't wait for it to get worse. Every minute counts when it comes to your heart. Here's the deal, plain and simple asterisk. 1. If you experience any of these symptoms, especially if they are new, severe, worsening, or if you have multiple symptoms at once, call 911 immediately. Yes, even if you're not sure. Even if it feels mild. It is always better to be safe than sorry. Emergency responders can start treatment on the way to the hospital, and that can literally be the difference between life and death, or between minor and major heart damage. Don't drive yourself to the hospital, and don't have a friend or family member drive you if 911 is an option. Let the professionals handle it. 2. Don't tough it out. This isn't the time to be brave or stoic. Your life is on the line. 3. Chew an aspirin, if advised. If you are having chest pain or suspect a heart attack, and you are not allergic to aspirin, and your doctor hasn't told you not to take it. Chewing a regular strength aspirin or 4 low-dose aspirins can help. Aspirin helps to thin the blood and can reduce the damage to your heart during a heart attack. But, this is only after you've called 911 or if you're directed to do so by a medical professional. Don't delay calling for help just to take an aspirin. 4. Tell someone what's happening if you're not alone. Let your family member, friend, or neighbor know exactly what symptoms you're experiencing. They can help you make the call and provide support. 5. Stay calm. I know it's easier said than done, but try to remain as calm as possible. Panicking can make your heart work even harder. Take slow, deep breaths if you can. Remember, early intervention is absolutely key. The faster you get medical attention, the better the outcome will likely be. Hospitals have amazing tools and treatments for heart attacks, but they only work if you get there in time. Your doctor would rather you call with a false alarm than delay treatment for a real emergency. They are there to help you. Now, recognizing these warning signs is critical for immediate action. But what about the long game? What about preventing these heart issues from even popping up in the first place, or keeping your heart as strong as possible once you've addressed any concerns? Well, a huge piece of that puzzle, my friends, is what you put on your plate. You know, we often hear you are what you eat. And when it comes to heart health, that old saying is absolutely, 100% spot on. As we get older, our bodies become a little less forgiving, and the foods we choose can either be incredible allies for our heart, or they can silently, slowly, cause damage over time. So, let's shift gears a bit and talk about some common foods that might be quietly doing your aging body a disservice, and more importantly, what delicious, heart-loving foods you should be reaching for instead. This isn't about strict diets or deprivation, it's about smart swaps that can add years of healthy living to your life. Let's start with the stuff we probably already know isn't great, but maybe don't fully grasp why it's so damaging, especially for our hearts. Common foods that silently damage aging bodies. And what to eat instead. 1. The sneaky sugars, sweets, sodas, and sugary drinks. Okay, let's just lay it out there, added sugar is a big troublemaker for your heart, and honestly, for your whole body as you age. And I'm not just talking about the obvious stuff like candy bars and donuts. I'm talking about the hidden sugars in so many processed foods. Sodas, fruit juices, sweetened yogurts, breakfast cereals, pastries, energy drinks, and even seemingly savory items like salad dressings and sauces. How do they damage your heart? Too much added sugar doesn't just pack on the pounds, it does a number on your heart. It can contribute to inflammation throughout your body, which is a big player in heart disease. It can lead to higher levels of unhealthy fats in your blood, increase your blood pressure, and cause insulin resistance, which can pave the way for type 2 diabetes, and diabetes is a huge risk factor for heart disease. High sugar intake also contributes to systemic inflammation, which directly damages blood vessel walls, setting the stage for plaque buildup. Over time, this constant assault on your arteries makes them stiff and less flexible, making your heart work much harder. For older adults, our metabolism isn't quite as zippy as it used to be, so our bodies are even less efficient at processing large amounts of sugar. This makes us more vulnerable to its negative effects. What to eat instead? This isn't about cutting out all sweetness from your life, but about choosing natural, wholesome sources. Reach for whole fruits, berries, apples, bananas, oranges. They come packed with natural sugars, but also crucial fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants. The fiber helps slow down sugar absorption, preventing those sharp blood sugar spikes. Drink more water. Plain water is always the best choice. If you want some flavor, infuse it with slices of fruit or a sprig of mint. Unsweetened beverages, opt for unsweetened tea or coffee. If you need a little sweetness, try a tiny bit of stevia or a small amount of maple syrup or honey, but use sparingly. Sweeten naturally. In your oatmeal or yogurt, use a sprinkle of cinnamon, some berries, or a few slices of banana instead of sugar. Making these simple swaps can significantly reduce the silent damage sugar inflicts on your heart and help keep your blood sugar levels stable, which is a win-win for your overall health. 2. The usual suspects, highly processed meats. We're talking about stuff like bacon, sausage, hot dogs, deli meats, jerky, and many frozen dinners. Now, a little bit of these might seem harmless, but regular consumption, especially as we age, can really start to take a toll on your cardiovascular system. How do they damage your heart? Processed meats are notorious for being high in a few things that are seriously bad for your heart. Sodium, they are absolutely loaded with it to preserve them and add flavor. Too much sodium is a direct link to high blood pressure, which is a major risk factor for heart attacks and strokes. High blood pressure forces your heart to work harder, stiffens your arteries, and can lead to dangerous plaque buildup. Saturated and unhealthy fats. Many processed meats contain high levels of saturated fat and sometimes even trans fats, which raise your bad LDL cholesterol levels. High LDL cholesterol is a primary driver of atherosclerosis, that's the hardening and narrowing of your arteries due to plaque buildup. Preservatives. These chemicals, used to preserve meat and give it that characteristic pink color, have been linked to increased risk of heart disease and other chronic conditions. They can damage blood vessels and contribute to inflammation. For older adults, whose arteries might already be showing some wear and tear, adding these high sodium, high fat, and chemically laden foods into the mix is like pouring fuel on a fire. What to eat instead? This doesn't mean you have to become a vegetarian overnight. It's about choosing leaner, less processed protein sources. Lean, unprocessed meats. Opt for fresh, lean cuts of chicken, turkey, fish, and lean beef in moderation. Plant-based proteins incorporate more beans, lentils, chickpeas, tofu, tempeh, and nuts into your diet. These are packed with fiber and beneficial nutrients, with none of the heart-damaging elements of processed meats. Eggs, a great source of protein. Homemade is best. Make your own chicken or turkey salad with fresh ingredients instead of buying pre-made deli versions. Cook your own breakfast sausage using lean ground turkey or chicken and your favorite spices. Making a switch from processed meats to whole, lean protein sources is one of the most powerful steps you can take to protect your aging heart. It reduces your intake of harmful fats, excessive sodium, and problematic preservatives, all while giving your body the building blocks it needs. We're digging deep into what we're putting into our bodies, and how it impacts our precious hearts as we get a little wiser. We've talked about cutting down on those sneaky sugars and ditching highly processed meats. Now, let's tackle another common culprit that might be hurting your heart without you even realizing it, the refined stuff. 3. The white culprits, refined grains and ultra-processed carbs. When I talk about refined grains, I'm mostly talking about white bread, white pasta, white rice, pastries, crackers, and many of those convenient pre-packaged snacks like cookies, cakes, and even some breakfast cereals that are stripped of their natural goodness. These are grains that have had their fibrous outer layer and nutrient-rich core removed, leaving only the starchy endosperm. How do they damage your heart? Here's the deal: when you eat refined grains, your body processes them really, really fast. It's almost like eating sugar. This causes a rapid spike in your blood sugar levels. Your body then has to pump out a lot of insulin to bring that sugar down. Over time, these constant blood sugar spikes and insulin surges can lead to insulin resistance. Your cells stop responding well to insulin, which can lead to higher blood sugar and eventually type 2 diabetes. And as we know, diabetes is a huge risk factor for heart disease. Inflammation, chronic inflammation in your body, which refined grains can contribute to, is a major driver of atherosclerosis, that plaque buildup and hardening of your arteries. Weight gain, because they lack fiber, refined grains don't fill you up for long, often leading to overeating and weight gain. Excess weight, especially around the middle, puts extra strain on your heart. High triglycerides, eating a lot of refined carbs can increase the level of unhealthy fats called triglycerides in your blood, another bad sign for heart health. For older adults, whose systems might be a bit slower to handle these sugar spikes, the impact can be even more pronounced. Your arteries and blood vessels are more vulnerable to this kind of consistent inflammatory stress. What to eat instead? The good news is, there are plenty of delicious and heart-healthy alternatives. The key is to swap refined grains for whole grains and other complex carbohydrates. Go for whole grains. Look for 100% whole wheat bread and pasta, brown rice, quinoa, oats, barley, and farro. These foods retain all their natural fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Why fiber is your friend? The fiber in whole grains slows down sugar absorption, helps keep your blood sugar stable, keeps you feeling full longer, and even helps lower cholesterol. It's like a superhighway for your digestive system and a protective shield for your heart. Embrace root vegetables and legumes. Sweet potatoes, corn, and peas are fantastic complex carbs. And don't forget beans and lentils, they are powerhouses of fiber and plant-based protein. Making the switch to whole grains might take a little getting used to, but your heart will thank you. It's a foundational change that can have profound positive effects on your cardiovascular health. Moving right along, let's talk about something else that's lurking in a lot of what we eat, even beyond those processed meats, sodium, or salt. 4. The hidden threat, excessive sodium. Now, we all need a little salt in our diet, it's essential for nerve and muscle function. But most of us, especially in Western diets, get way too much. And often, it's not from the salt shaker on your table. It's hidden in surprising places. We're talking about canned soups, frozen meals, fast food, restaurant dishes, condiments, salad dressings, breakfast cereals, cheese, and even bread. Yep, even bread can be a major source of hidden sodium. How does it damage your heart? The biggest issue with too much sodium is its direct link to high blood pressure, also known as hypertension. When you consume too much salt, your body holds onto extra water to dilute it. This extra water increases the volume of blood in your vessels, which then puts more pressure on your artery walls. Think of it like turning up the pressure in a garden hose. Over time, this constant high pressure damages your arteries, making them stiff and narrow. This makes your heart work harder to pump blood through these constricted vessels, which can lead to enlarged heart. Your heart muscle has to pump harder, so it can thicken and enlarge, becoming less efficient over time. Heart failure, a weakened heart that can't pump enough blood to meet your body's needs. Increased risk of heart attack and stroke. Damaged arteries are more prone to plaque buildup and blood clots. For older adults, who are already at a higher risk for high blood pressure, excessive sodium intake is a particularly dangerous habit. Your arteries might already be less elastic with age, making them even more vulnerable to pressure changes. What to eat instead? Reducing sodium doesn't mean your food has to be bland. It means being smarter about where your salt comes from and relying on other flavors. Read food labels, this is your best friend. Look for low sodium, reduced sodium, or no salt added versions of your favorite products. A good target is aiming for less than 140 milligrams of sodium per serving for processed foods. Cook at home more often. When you cook, you control the salt. Use herbs, spices, garlic, onion, citrus juice, and vinegars to add incredible flavor without the sodium. Choose fresh over processed. Fresh fruits, vegetables, and unprocessed meats are naturally low in sodium. Rinse canned foods. If you must use canned beans or vegetables, rinse them thoroughly under cold water to wash away some of the excess sodium. Be mindful at restaurants. Restaurant meals are often loaded with sodium. Don't be afraid to ask for sauces and dressings on the side, or ask if dishes can be prepared with less salt. Lowering your sodium intake is one of the most effective things you can do to lower your blood pressure and significantly reduce your risk of heart attack and stroke. It's a game changer for your heart health. Okay, next on our list, let's talk about fats. Not all fats are created equal, and some are definitely doing your heart more harm than good. 5. The unhealthy fats, trans fats and excessive saturated fats. Alright, this one can get a little confusing, but let's break it down simply. There are good fats, and there are bad fats. The ones we need to seriously watch out for, especially as we get older, are trans fats and excessive saturated fats. Trans fats, these are the absolute worst for your heart. They're man-made fats created through a process called hydrogenation, which makes liquid oils solid at room temperature. You find them in things like some processed baked goods, fried fast food, certain types of margarine, and some non-dairy creamers. The good news is that many countries and even the US have largely banned artificial trans fats, but some might still sneak into products if they contain partially hydrogenated oil. Saturated fats, these are found primarily in animal products like fatty cuts of red meat, poultry skin, full-fat dairy products, and some tropical oils like coconut and palm oil. While not as universally demonized as trans fats, consuming too much saturated fat can still be problematic for your heart. How do they damage your heart? Both trans fats and excessive saturated fats are notorious for raising your bad cholesterol, that's your LDL cholesterol. LDL cholesterol contributes to plaque buildup in your arteries, leading to atherosclerosis. Trans fats are particularly insidious because they not only raise your bad LDL cholesterol but also lower your good HDL cholesterol, which is like your body's cleanup crew for cholesterol. It's a double whammy for your arteries. Over time, this plaque buildup narrows your arteries, making it harder for blood to flow freely to your heart. This increases your risk for heart attack and stroke. For older adults, whose arteries might already have some existing plaque, consuming these fats can accelerate the progression of heart disease. What to eat instead? This is where you lean into the healthy fats. These are your heart's best friends. Monounsaturated fats ** found in olive oil, avocados, and nuts. These fats can help lower bad cholesterol and protect your heart. Polyunsaturated fats * found in fatty fish, rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are fantastic for reducing inflammation and improving cholesterol levels. Also found in walnuts, flax seeds, and certain vegetable oils like corn, sunflower, and soybean oil. Choose wisely. Cook with healthy oils. Use olive oil, avocado oil, or canola oil instead of butter or lard. Eat more fish or at least 2 servings of fatty fish per week. Snack on nuts and seeds. A small handful of unsalted nuts or seeds is a great way to get healthy fats and fiber. Incorporate avocado, add slices to salads, sandwiches, or make a healthy guacamole. Limit high-fat dairy and red meat, opt for leaner cuts of meat, trim visible fat, and choose low-fat or fat-free dairy products. By consciously choosing healthy fats and drastically reducing your intake of trans and excessive saturated fats, you can significantly improve your cholesterol profile and keep your arteries clear and happy. This is a fundamental step in protecting your heart for the long run. Alright, we've covered the main food groups that can really challenge your heart. But there's one more habit that, while sometimes enjoyed responsibly, can also cause silent damage if it's overdone, especially as we age. 6. Too much of a good thing, excessive alcohol. Now, I know, we've heard about the potential heart benefits of a glass of red wine, and for some, moderate alcohol consumption might be okay. But the key word here is moderate. For older adults, especially, excessive alcohol intake can silently put a lot of strain on your heart and overall health. How does it damage your heart? High blood pressure. Chronic heavy drinking can significantly raise your blood pressure. Weakened heart muscle. Over time, excessive alcohol can damage your heart muscle, leading to alcoholic cardiomyopathy, where the heart can't pump blood effectively. Irregular heartbeat. Alcohol can trigger irregular heart rhythms, like atrial fibrillation, which increases your risk of stroke. Empty calories and weight gain. Alcohol provides empty calories, meaning they offer little nutritional value. Excess calories can lead to weight gain, which further stresses the heart. Interactions with medications. As we age, many of us are on more medications. Alcohol can interact dangerously with common prescriptions for blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, and more. For older adults, our bodies process alcohol differently than when we were younger. It stays in our system longer, and its effects can be more pronounced. What might have been moderate in your younger days could be excessive now. What to consume instead? Stick to moderation. If you do drink alcohol, aim for moderation. For women of all ages and men over 65, that generally means up to 1 drink per day. For men under 65, it's up to 2 drinks per day. Water. Water, water, the best beverage choice remains water. Healthy alternatives, explore sparkling water with fruit, unsweetened iced tea, or herbal infusions. Check with your doctor. It's always a good idea to discuss your alcohol consumption with your doctor, especially if you're on medications or have existing health conditions. Limiting alcohol or cutting it out entirely can significantly reduce the burden on your heart and contribute to better overall health and well-being as you age. So there you have it, folks. We've just broken down 6 major food categories and 1 drinking habit that can silently chip away at your heart health over the years. This isn't about being perfect, it's about making mindful, consistent choices that empower your body to thrive. Remember, every small swap, every healthier choice you make, adds up. It's like putting money in your heart's health savings account. These changes aren't just about preventing a heart attack, they're about giving you more energy, better clarity, and a stronger, more vibrant life to enjoy. We've journeyed through the